Welcome to Simoniz Floor Care Training. In this video, we will learn the restorative procedures for stripping and recoating a floor. This process is designed to prepare the floor for new finish by completely removing all of the existing floor finish. When the finish no longer responds to burnishing, has discolored, has excessive buildup, or has just worn to the bare tile, it is time to strip out. This video will cover floor inspection, materials, preparing the floor, mixing the stripping solution, stripping baseboards and edges, applying the stripper, proper dwell time, scrubbing the floor, stripper removal and pickup, rinsing techniques, and applying floor finish. We'll start with some telltale signs to look for that may indicate a strip out is necessary. Excessive buildup along edges, baseboards, and corners. Exposed areas of the floor where the finish has been worn to the bare tile. The finish has a soiled or discolored appearance even after cleaning and burnishing. So it's time for a strip out. Here is the equipment you will need to do the job. Wet floor signs, dust mops, 2 sets of mop buckets and wringers, 2 clean looped mops and handles, doodle bug and pads, black or high productivity floor pads, scrapers, chemically resistant gloves, eye protection, floor squeegee and handle, clean white rags, several large trash can liners, slow speed floor machine, heavy gauge electrical extension cord, a wet vac, a dryer or floor fan, auto scrubber if available, a propane stripping machine if available or desired, stripping boots if available, finish mop or application system, stripper, baseboard stripper, winter rinse neutralizer, floor finish, and sealer if needed. Now that you have all of your gear, you're ready to begin the job. Start by inspecting the condition of the floor. Keep an eye out for excessive buildup, soiling and wear, and any stuck-on material. Be aware of your problem areas and obstacles such as corners, traffic lanes, baseboards, and edges. Use a dust mop to remove loose soil and scrape gum, tape, stickers, or any stuck-on materials. Place your wet floor signs around the entire area where you'll be working. Put on gloves and protective eyewear. Read the directions for the correct dilution ratios and water temperature. If using Simoniz Ultraline, mix at an 8:1 ratio. Mix your stripper according to the directions on the container. Be sure to stay in the dilution range listed on the directions for light stripping or heavy buildup. Cool or warm water dries slower than hot water. Many strippers are designed for cold water to allow for longer dwell times and less chance of dryback. Do not exceed the maximum dilution. This is a case where more is not better, as strippers need the correct amount of water to activate and emulsify floor finishes without making the slurry too thick to remove or clog floor pads. Strip the baseboard and edges first. Apply your stripper or aerosol baseboard stripper on the baseboards and about 6 inches to a foot from the baseboard. Allow stripper to dwell 10 minutes. Scrub with a scraper and/or doodle bug. This is the safest and easiest way to begin. Walking on a dry floor is far easier than walking through wet stripper while scrubbing edges. This will allow you to scrub these tough areas a second time with the floor machine when you strip the entire floor. After you've finished with the baseboards, use a wet mop to flood on stripping solution. Apply liberally, making sure the floor is completely covered and wet. If the stripper starts to dry, quickly apply more to those areas. Allow the stripper to dwell for 10 minutes, remembering to reapply to areas that begin drying quickly. When you're ready to begin stripping, place the black stripping pad on your machine. Start in from a dry area and move forward into the stripper from a dry area. This will ensure better and more secure footing when walking over the stripper. Stripping boots will give you far safer footing, and we recommend using them when stripping. Scrub with a black stripping or high productivity pad and a 175 to 300 RPM rotary machine, or scrub in 2 passes with an auto scrubber. Be sure to overlap each pass with the machine. When using an auto scrubber or propane stripping machine, make long, slow, straight passes, and remember to overlap on your return path. Next, you will pick up your slurry with a wet vac or an auto scrubber and squeegee. Use a floor squeegee to pull the stripping slurry from hard-to-reach areas or corners. Push or pull the solution toward the center of the room and then pick it up with your wet vac or auto scrubber. Next, we're going to neutralize the floor. Apply a liberal solution of diluted winter rinse neutralizer to the stripped floor. This is a mildly acidic solution that will bring the floor closer to a pH of 7 before you apply your finish. This step is not a requirement, but helps to remove and neutralize stripper from the pores of the floor. This will aid in better adhesion of finishes and sealers. When finished with the application, pick up with a wet vac or auto scrubber. Next, you want to rinse the floor with clean, cool water using a clean, damp mop head. Rinse a second time to ensure all stripping residue is removed. Pay close attention to edges as they sometimes retain stripper and will leak it out as the floor dries. Inspect the floors to ensure complete and total removal of the old finish. If there are shiny spots or areas that obviously still have finish on them or excessive residue, it's necessary to spot strip these areas again. This concludes the stripping portion of this video, so let's review our steps. In this video, we covered floor inspection, material, stripping the floor, mixing our solution, stripping baseboards and edges, stripper application, dwell times, and stripper removal, finishing up with inspection. We will now move on to the process of applying floor finish. When the tile is very porous, worn, or is in poor condition, you will need to apply 2 coats of sealer prior to applying the finish. This video will take you through the proper steps for applying floor finish to a stripped floor with a standard finish mop. We will cover sign placement, the proper way to use our mop bucket, application, and drying. The first step in applying any floor finish is to put wet floor signs in place for safety. Next, line a mop bucket with a clean trash can liner. This will ensure your sealer and finish will not be contaminated by leftover soil or chemicals in the mop bucket. Then fill the bucket with your floor finish. We recommend Simoniz DuraShine. You want to use a clean looped finish mop. Dip the damp mop head into the floor finish and wring out the head so it doesn't drip. Apply in even medium coats. Light to medium coats dry faster and more uniformly. An alternative method of applying finish is to use the Simoniz backpack applicator. Simply fill the pack and apply as shown. You can also use Rubbermaid microfiber applicator as we see here. You want to frame the area, working your way toward the center. Apply the first coat 12 inches from the baseboards to limit buildup. You will apply your second and fourth coats to the baseboard. Apply a total of 5 coats of finish. Let each coat dry to the touch before applying the next coat, especially in high humidity. This will take about 30 minutes under normal conditions. A fan can aid in drying, but make sure and allow the finish to dry for 10 minutes before you start a fan. Aim the fan above the floor. Never force air directly onto a wet finish, and never use a fan where dust can be blown onto the finish. This concludes the finishing process, so let's review. We put up our signs, we lined the bucket, we used a clean finishing mop head and applied in medium coats. We framed the area, avoiding the baseboard on the first coat, and we did a total of 5 coats, using a fan to aid in the drying process. Thank you for joining us for this floor care instructional video on finishing by Simoniz.